attracted 100 people. And here's how they've called them out. Current and retired police officers, current and retired firefighters, current and retired teachers. The city will finance them $5,000 toward renovating an old, deteriorating home.
He's talking about
People of
Baltimore,
natural state of the
Maryland.
community, cops, firefighters, and teachers. It's a revolving loan fund to say to them, will you help rebuild the community that you serve every day? Baltimore has used this $500,000 to turn around neighborhoods all over Baltimore, which has a much bigger black problem, frankly, than Montgomery, Alabama does. I want to set up the same kind of fund here in Montgomery. I think we can pull it off. We can do it with the private sector. We can do it by using the public sector. We can figure using the not-for-profit sector. But we're going to have an anti-blight strategy that recognizes that you've got to create a market around these homes if you want to turn them around. You'll not fix the problem simply by condemning some places and tearing some people's property down. There's got to be a strategy to rebuild and renovate. Rebuild and renovate. Try saying that fast. Speaking of blight, all of us know one part of blight is not just homes that don't look good, but it's businesses that hurt people. And businesses that by themselves send a signal about what certain people think of certain communities. As I drove here today, I drove down 271, and I came up the Southern Boulevard to get to this location. I counted 8 payday lenders between here and what they call one center, one nearly empty center that we think of as the old Montgomery Mall complex. 8. And I probably missed some as I was driving, so I had to pay attention to the road too. If I keep on driving down the road, I will see another 8 or 9 or 10. And they tend to all be close to each other. And they're all over the Southern Boulevard. They're all over the Eastern Bypass. They're creeping into the Atlanta Highway. They're creeping into parts of the city which used not to have these kinds of businesses. This is one of the new cottage industries in Montgomery, Alabama. Now, last year, the city council and the mayor had a conversation about dealing with the blight from predatory lenders. And they talked and talked and talked and studied and studied and studied. And they finally came up with an idea. They said that for new payday lending and title loan institutions, you can't be within 2,000 feet of another one. Well, so the new guys can't come, but the old ones can stay. And predictably, the industry said, you know what, we can live with that. Less competition and we're all protected. I think we can do better than that. As mayor, I'm going to imitate what Dallas and Austin have done. Dallas and Austin have said, no, as cities, we don't have the legal authority to ban payday lenders. That's true. We don't have the legal authority to regulate the rates they charge. That's true. But we have a licensing authority and a zoning authority. So, Mayor, I'm going to ask the council to give me the authority to make every payday title lender in this city have to get a special license with the city of Montgomery. As part of that special license, the city will accept and monitor complaints about their conduct and will assist federal and state enforcement agencies with policing with their abusive practices. In addition, the city can use its zoning authority to require them to tell the community certain things about their business by way of signs that will have to be vividly posted. We're going to require that they post their payment schedule, how quickly you have to pay a loan, and that they post their interest rates. If you're going to wrap people in this transaction, you're not going to tell them about it with fine print. You're going to tell them about it with a big sign in your door saying, here's what you're walking into. It's kind of like a beware the dog sign. That's something the city can do with its zoning and licensing authority. We're also going to do something else with our zoning authority. It's creative. A number of cities have done it. What is the essence of zoning authority? You get to say to businesses, you can't locate in areas where you will cause crime or deteriorate values. That's how we keep strip clubs, frankly, from being everywhere. We have every capacity to say to the payday lenders, if we make factual findings that you are deteriorating property values or that crime is going up in communities where you're located, we're going to zone you out of those places. Guess what will happen when the city of Montgomery Montgomery does that. The payday and title lenders, payday and title loan sharks won't be able to camp out in the places where they're used to being now. And when they're deprived of that market, they will magically lose interest in this community. We'll have some of them left, but it will be a lot fewer of them. And the ones who are left will have to put big signs telling people what they're in for when they walk in there. So folks, that's not all we're going to do, but it's the heart of it. Enlarge our vision of how to develop Montgomery. Say to institutions that have been hurting this community and destroying values that you now have an enemy in the mayor's office and not a friend. Tackle the problem of blight, not just with empty rhetoric. Put a real plan to create a market around these homes. And let's say to the people who are getting wealthy in our city off development that that's good. It's the American way for you to be wealthy. But if the city is going to help make you wealthy, you got to give back. This is a set of proposals that rely on the market and on imagination. But lastly, it's a set of proposals that say to people in Montgomery, Alabama, we're not going to give up on having a city that's inclusive and that shares prosperity across its different regions. I don't want this to become just another community where some people soar, a lot of people falter. Some neighborhoods are pristine, some are collapsing. I want this to be a city that's rolling back the number of collapsing places and that's lifting up the number of people who are making it. That's why we call this a plan for a better Montgomery. So that ends my remarks. I want to, again, thank all of you for coming out. I'm thankful to see our press here. You know, it's kind of a rule of thumb that the press doesn't like to cover politics. So we told them, you're covering politics today. You're covering a discussion about what kind of community Montgomery ought to be, and they bought it. They're here, and that's right. But more importantly, normally when you do a press conference, you get these guys behind the camera and maybe beg one or two people to come out. We had the nice problem today that we didn't have enough seats for all of you. I still like the fact that Montgomery, Alabama at 1 o'clock in a building with no air conditioning, that some people were willing to come out to hear about our city's future. We're going to keep talking about our city's future, and we're going to keep talking about a better Montgomery. Any questions?